What's going on, guys? This is Decron with Motion Tracks. Welcome to another session of Firestarter, where we fire up your passion for fitness and we heat up your results. So tonight I'm going to be talking about, considering we just had Thanksgiving and we're in the holidays, I'm going to be talking about how do you avoid the holiday belly bulge. So this is going to be all about strategies, tips, hacks that'll help you stay lean, even though we've got all the temptations and all the sort of pitfalls that the holidays can represent as far as keeping a slim sort of waistline and keeping in the shape we want to keep in. So I'm going to wait a few minutes here. Looking forward to some people joining us. Until then, I'll give you guys a quick update as to what I've been up to. So the last 2 weeks, I've kind of fallen off my fitness routine because I had a lot of issues with my elbows. I had a procedure done in my elbows. I have elbow tendonitis, and I had something called PRP done, which stands for plasma-rich protein. It's a process my sports doctor recommended after I tried a lot of other things which didn't work. I tried cortisone. It was good for a while, but not a permanent solution. I tried acupuncture, also very limited results. I had some physical therapy. And finally, it came down to doing PRP. It's sort of like a bit more invasive. So what happens with PRP is they draw out your own blood, they put it in a centrifuge, and then they inject it back into the area that needs treatment. So in my case, they drew a bunch of blood and they injected both my elbows. So, I would say the results have been mixed. I do feel a little bit better. The injections have made my elbows feel more tender, more sore, but I feel the tendonitis has gone down a little bit. I'd say maybe about 20%. So I don't know, I'm going to keep working through it. If this doesn't work out, there's another procedure I can do called 10X, which they basically inject like some kind of water and they flush out scar tissue and stuff that could be causing the inflammation in your tendons. So anyway, that's a long way of saying I've been falling off the fitness routine, but now I'm kind of back. I had a pretty good workout last night. And then today was a great example of trying to fit fitness in on a day that you're busy. So we had a Black Friday sale last week, and we acquired a couple of new clients for my fitness coaching. And one of my new clients wanted a more advanced workout. Most of my workouts are pretty efficient. You could do them in 3 days a week. But she was like, hey, I'm retired now. I have more time. I want to see better results faster. I have more time. What can I do with the extra time I have? So basically, I came up with a more advanced 4-day workout. It's pretty much a full body workout, doing alternating push and pull movements. And I think she's going to love it. I think it's going to kick her butt. And my point is, it took me a while to develop this routine. And I sort of ran behind. I wanted to get a full cardio session in, at least like a 20-minute hit interval workout on the treadmill. I only had 10. So I just was able to fit it in. I have a 10-minute routine that I posted. It's basically, I do a pyramid of intervals. So I do 1-1 ratio intervals where I'm pushing hard for 30 seconds. I'm recovering for 30. Then I do 45-45. Then I do 60-60, back down to 45-45, 30-30, and then I just finish with a cool down. So that takes me only around 10 minutes. It gets my heart going. It helps me burn maybe 100 to 200 calories in just a short period of time, and it feels good. It keeps my body in a fitness groove. And that's kind of really what we're going to talk about today. Is like, how do you stay in that fitness groove when you're faced with obstacles like the holidays? Holidays are, first of all, they're time consuming. We get invited to events, we get invited to corporate functions, obviously religious functions, holidays, etc. So when we're faced with that, it cuts back on our time. And then the double whammy with the holidays, kind of give that extra hook, is the fact that we are, around a lot of, high caloric foods and drinks, and that can really kind of mess up our waistline. And inevitably, a lot of people end up, binging during the holidays, and then they go into January feeling guilty, and they're overweight, and they say, okay, now that's it. I'm going to make up for all of that, sinful eating and drinking, and I'm going to get into my fitness routine. So they're all motivated, and then we know what happens. That motivation only lasts so long. You see those people in the gym the first week of January, Most of them are there the second week of January. By the third week of January, most of them have fallen off because it's just they don't have the habit, they don't have the mindset, and they're relying on just that spur of motivation, that guilt that kicked in because they were just eating sloppy during the holidays. It's like, okay, now I'm going to do it. I'm going to get healthy again. So the point of this fire starter Q&A session is to give you guys help you keep some momentum throughout the holidays so that you don't go into January with what I call the holiday belly bulge. We don't want that. So I'm going to get into some stuff right now. It's 6 minutes after 8:30. And by the way, guys, thanks for joining. I see Rick, Aaron, Nikushor. What's up, guys? Great to have you on this broadcast. So I hope you're ready to hear some tips. If anything doesn't make sense, or if you have questions, anything you want me to cover as far as fitness, nutrition, weight loss, hacks, anything you're perplexed about, just let me know. Just put it in the box, and I'll be checking it to answer your questions. All right. So on the email promoting this fire starter Q&A today, I mentioned I was going to cover a couple of things. So first one, let's go over 3 mistakes that people make that helps them gain a lot of weight during the holidays. So one of the things they do is they basically fall off track. So what happens is when the holiday mindset takes over, people think, oh, I'm in the holidays, I could just relax now. I don't have to work out, I'm excused. It's almost like I'm on vacation. I don't need to work, I don't need to have discipline, I could just chill. And that, I think, is a big pitfall, because what happens is we talked about it in previous fire starter sessions, but you can think of your momentum for being fit and staying lean and being healthy kind of like a plane. So if you're a plane, you're coasting along and you're at pretty good altitude, it takes a lot less energy and a lot less fuel for that plane to just stay at that same altitude and just kind of like keep coasting, versus if you kind of start nosediving, it takes so much more fuel and energy and effort for that plane to get back up. So that's the first thing, is don't completely fall off your routine during the holidays. People will just, if they fall off, their mindset will shift, and it actually shifts the wrong way. They start believing that they can't do it. Oh, I don't have time. I'm too busy. They'll keep buying into the reasons, the obstacles, the excuses. Oh, my daughter was sick. Oh, I had to work deadlines. Oh, this, oh, that. So the thing is, there's really always an opportunity to do something. So that's what I want to communicate here is don't completely do nothing, do something. And that something could be very little and it could be very quick. But the mere fact that, being fit is staying on top of your mind and you're overcoming obstacles is a huge, huge win in and of itself. If all you're doing is taking a 5-minute walk during your lunch break, or you're climbing those flights of stairs like an extra 2 times, or you're parking your car at the end of the parking lot and walking further, that all counts, guys. Don't think that, the only fitness you get credit for is, when you're going to the gym and killing yourself for an hour. That's not the only way to stay active and be fit. That is obviously ideal, but we can't always do ideal. And with the holidays, we just got to do what is practical. So that's what I want people to do, is I want you to look for ways to fit your fitness in when you're busy, when the holidays are upon you. Just fit it in. Whether you got to just do something quick, that's a lot better than doing nothing. Because when you shut down and you think I can't do anything, your momentum just starts nosediving. So I rather you just dip a little bit, but kind of keep some kind of altitude versus totally go down, gain weight, feel bad about yourself. Your body starts to get stiff and less flexible, and you start losing whatever gains you had. My biggest suggestion is don't do nothing, do something, even if it's a little bit. Just make it a habit to stay consistent with some kind of routine and get it in. So that's mistake number 1 people make, they shut down. Mistake number 2, I think they kind of overdo it. Like people will be tempted with drinks, with desserts, with alcohol. And I think at this point, you just have to have a little bit of discipline with yourself. And if you're finding you're not having discipline, I'm going to give you a good hack for that in a second. So I'm just going to write this down. But basically, you want to not overdo it. When you go to a party, let's say it's a holiday happy hour, your company is hosting an event. You can go there, one way to do it is you can just have, 5, 6, 7 drinks, eat whatever's, on the menu, and just not even think about what you're consuming. That's actually the way that's not going to get you, the best results. You're going to end up feeling guilty, and you're just, the next day you're not going to enjoy how you kind of went about that event. So really try to keep a little bit of discipline, have a little, maybe give yourself a number of drinks, for example, before you walk to the event, before you get there. To tell yourself something like, I'm only going to have one drink tonight, or two drinks, or whatever that is, but cut yourself off and just kind of, be disciplined. Of course, the more drinks you have, the less the discipline the more the discipline goes down. So, do your best to kind of keep a limit where you're not going to get to like a really, I guess, inebriated or buzzed state, and you're going to be able to, have some self-control. So whatever that is for you, some people, maybe it's one drink, other people it's 2 or 3 drinks, whatever that is for you, have that number in your mind and don't overdo it. Alcohol is probably the biggest thing that screws people up because it leads to other things. Alcohol reduces our willpower, it relaxes the central nervous system a lot, and that's when we end up making bad decisions around many things, but around food as well. So if you're having a lot of drinks, that usually leads to eating junky food right after. So that's the big one, is definitely don't overdo it, especially on the alcohol. And then I think a third mistake is, sometimes people will have unrealistic expectations. They won't consider the fact that the holidays could derail their plan. So they'll say, yeah, I'm going to stick to my schedule, even though it's the holidays, I'll be fine. And you can actually get pretty derailed if you're not kind of planning ahead a little bit. So for example, this weekend, we had Thanksgiving on Thursday. My godparents were visiting from Los Angeles. I live here in New York. They had flown in to see an exhibit at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. It's an exhibit around Armenia. They have really cool artifacts. I'm half Armenian, so anyway. So they came to see that, and obviously they brought desserts with them. They brought goodies from them from LA, and there was a lot of stuff available. And then, of course, after Thanksgiving dinner, my folks just like shoveled that stuff onto me, like, oh, hey, take some apple pie, take some of these cookies, take some of this stuff your aunt baked, take some of this other stuff. And, they're just like pushing it on me, and I'm trying to tell them no. But at the end of the day, I've got that stuff, and I'm, pretty much debating getting rid of most of it. I'm just going to toss some of it out. And please don't tell them I said this. But, they're like tempting me with stuff, and I know that it's not okay with what I'm trying to do. Like, I'm trying to, keep my own physique sharp, and I'm trying to be an example for people. So I'm going to do a cupboard check. I'm going to get rid of some of that stuff. And if I do indulge, I'm going to indulge on days when I know I'm working out. So, they gave me brownies, they gave me apple pie. It's all the stuff that I absolutely love. It's very hard for me to say no to that stuff. But, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pace myself and have it on days that I know I've got a little extra budget to have that stuff. So again, this goes back to the first thing I said, get a little bit of activity in, even if it's, 10 minutes of walking, climbing the stairs, an extra time or two, whatever you can do to keep moving. It's going to give you a little bit of extra budget to enjoy the holidays, to have that glass of wine, or to have, some dessert or what have you. So that's kind of the 3 mistakes, guys. 1, people totally shut down during the holidays. They start doing nothing at all, and they totally lose momentum. 2, they overdo it. They have too many drinks or too many desserts. And then 3, they're not realistic with their expectations. You're going to be tempted. Know that you are going to be tempted. You're going to be invited to stuff. It's just, a lot of it is obligatory. Maybe it's family or religious or community. You're going to be tempted, so don't think you're not. Put in the extra effort to give yourself budget to enjoy those things. And if you miss your regular workouts, don't panic, don't fret. Just get in fitness in other ways. Park 10 blocks away and just walk. That'll force you to move, to be active. So those are 3 mistakes, guys, I recommend you avoid during the holidays. And let me mention a couple of hacks. So these are things that are going to help you kind of get through and be sharp and be smart and still be able to enjoy the holidays and, not get what I call the holiday belly bulge. So we talked about discipline. So if you feel that, you're going to go to an event, there's going to be a lot of food or drink, and the discipline is not going to be there, I want you to do what's called the practice of affirmations. So affirmations are basically, if you're not familiar with what they are, they're a positive statement, and they kind of declare either to yourself or to other people how you want to be, like who you want to be in the world. And the more you tell yourself affirmations, you're basically training your subconscious mind that this is what you want, this is what you want to get to. So the example I usually like to give is, for example, if I tell myself every day, let's say I wanted to be a millionaire. So then I would say to myself, an affirmation around that would be, I'm a millionaire. It feels great to be a millionaire. I do the things required to be a millionaire. So as I start focusing on being a millionaire, my mind starts giving me ideas. It says, oh, okay, well, if you want to be a millionaire, then maybe you should hang out with millionaires. Or if you want to be a millionaire, maybe you should get into an industry that's very lucrative. Or if you want to be a millionaire, maybe you should read books about being a millionaire, right? So all these ideas start coming up to me simply because I affirmed my desire, or I affirmed my sort of intention to the universe. So it starts giving me these ideas. So you guys can do that too with discipline. You can say something like, my body and my health really matter to me, therefore I have discipline around my eating. That could be an affirmation, and put it in your words. Do the kind of affirmation that really inspires you and is personal to you. But that's an example of what you can do. And these affirmations, ideally, you say them first thing in the morning. You can say them out loud. You can say them to the mirror. You can say them to a friend. I see my my life coach Jared saying yes. He's the one who taught me a lot about this. So yeah, man. Affirmations are super awesome. They're powerful. They're proven. If you haven't read the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, he really talks about how, saying an affirmation can really shift your entire energy. It can really bring a lot of sort of good luck to you, just because you're saying you want that. And you've probably heard stories about people saying, they focused on something. Oh, actually, I got a good one. Oprah did a segment, I think last year or the year before, with a woman, a young lady who was in debt. I think she had something like $98,000 of debt. And she discovered affirmations, and all she did every day was she kept focusing on her, not being in debt. She focused on her having financial freedom. And she just kept telling that to herself, I have financial freedom, I have financial freedom. And I think within a year or like a year and a half, she had completely wiped out her debt. It was almost unbelievable. She was on the verge of bankruptcy. And just by telling herself and stating her intention, her being shifted, her action shifted, and she was able to accomplish like what seemed to be an impossible goal to her. So anyway, I don't want to go too far down with that, but just know that you can say affirmations to yourself. You can say them any time of the day. You could do it while you're waiting for a red light. You could do it while you're online waiting for your coffee. You could do it while you're commuting. It doesn't matter. Like, you could just close your eyes for a second and just keep what's important to you. Like, my health is important to you. I make the right decisions around food. I make the right decisions around fitness, and that'll really start shifting stuff for you. So that, I think, is a great hack. Another hack I like to use in situations where you're tempted around like food and drink. So this, as I take a drink, but that was only water, don't worry. So what you can do when you're going into a situation like a corporate event, a brunch, a wedding, there's going to be a lot of food, a lot of tempting stuff around. You could do a hack, what I call have just one. So have just one means you don't completely say no, you don't limit yourself, but you have a little bit of it. You have a little bit of something, but not enough to kind of, kind of hurt your fitness efforts or kind of like add too much to your waistline. So have just one could be, have just one drink, or maybe it's just have one sip of a drink, or maybe it's like you see a yummy dessert and you have a taste of it, or, you see a candy bar and you have a little piece of that candy bar. So these are just, these are ways you can kind of like, let's say, not be rude in a social situation. Grandma offers you apple pie. You don't want to say no, but at the same time, you don't have to finish the whole thing, just have a little bit and nurse it, or nurse that drink. And you'll be fine. That'll give you a chance to, conform to social norms, so to speak, and kind of accept what they're giving you. You can take a taste. You can tell them how you like it. And at the same time, you don't have to gorge. You don't have to indulge. So, that works for some people, maybe not so well for others. I know that some people, once they start and they taste how good it is, they just want to keep on going. So if that's the case, this may not work for you as well. But, in those situations, then what you can do is you can on that day that you're going to have that event with a lot of temptation around, have a good workout that day. Burn those calories, create that deficit. Every day we have a budget. We get to fill up that budget of calories every day. If we stay at the line, that's perfect. If we go over, the body usually ends up storing some of that as fat. But if you're at the line or below, then you're good. And if you know you're going to go above, then just increase your budget that day by exercising. By exercising, you increase your caloric budget for the day. So that's another hack you can try if you know that an event is coming up. You could just have one, or you can, add to your budget for that day by having a good workout. I remember for years, and I just did this out of intuition. I wasn't, coaching anybody on fitness at the time. It was just sort of my own desire to want to be in good shape. Every Thanksgiving, I would have like a serious workout that morning because I knew I was going to eat a lot. There was no way around it. My mom makes good food. There's stuffing and turkey and, gravy and desserts and soups and all this stuff. And I knew I was going to eat a lot. So I would always work out hard before Thanksgiving dinner. That way I had room to eat more. And, I wouldn't gain weight because of it. So guys, I've been doing a lot of talking. Thank you again for joining, for listening. I'm curious, what questions do you have? When it comes to the holidays, what sort of has tripped you up in the past? Is there anything you're concerned about? Maybe did you totally have like a bad Thanksgiving experience where you kind of ate way more than you wanted to? What did you learn from that? Would love to hear your thoughts around, holiday eating and trying to stay in shape. Let me know what questions you have. I'll probably run this Q&A for another, 8 minutes till about 9 o'clock here in New York time. But let me know what questions you have that I can answer for you. I see my friend Rafi from LA joined. What's up, Raf? You have any questions for me? You have any thoughts you'd like to share? Anything around fitness, weight loss, staying in shape during the holidays? A big question I usually end up answering for people is like, how do I bust a weight loss plateau? I'm like stuck at this level. How do I kind of get better? So let me know, guys, if you have any questions. I'm also going to take a look at our Motion Tracks audience, see if anybody commented. Looks like people are just listening right now. So let's see. I'm gonna be like the high school professor. I'm gonna call on a couple of people. So I see one of my buddies from the gym is on as well, Carolina. Hola, Carolina. So do you have a question? I know you're very dedicated to your fitness. I see you working out hard. If you have a question, put it in the box, por favor. Looks like Jared chimed in. He says, what do you think about meat? Being vegetarian versus a meat eater. There's a lot of meat during Thanksgiving. Yeah, good question. I've been hearing things lately about alternative Thanksgiving, like vegan Thanksgiving, pescatarian Thanksgiving. I saw that on Facebook in a couple of places. I mean, look, Thanksgiving is a tradition of giving thanks. I don't know who said it. We have to eat turkey, but it seems like that's what we do. Personally, I love turkey, and I really love turkey soup. I think, if you're like a vegetarian and you're invited to Thanksgiving dinner, generally you have enough options to get by. There's enough appetizers, there's enough sort of side dishes, there's enough, other things you can eat that'll kind of get you through that dinner. So obviously being a vegetarian is a personal choice. And I think these days more than ever, it's accepted. And I think there's a lot of options. So one thing you can do to plan ahead is just contact the host and let them know. Be like, look, I don't eat meat and I don't want to make this difficult for you. But if you're not going to have anything other than meat, which they probably will, but you could say, I'd like to bring something with me. It's almost like a generous offer on your part to bring something with you to the table. That way your needs are met and, they're not feeling bad that you can't eat, the meat. So I would just plan ahead a little bit. Really with fitness, nutrition, with being healthy, you got to carry food with you. That's really the bottom line. And I know it's hard, and I know a lot of people aren't used to it, but eating out or eating at other people's homes is not a great option because you don't know what you're getting. It's hard to measure what they're giving you. You don't know where the food has been, especially if you're eating out. So, for me, I meal prep every Sunday night, and I take my food with me to the office. You won't catch me in the office Monday through Friday without me having my meals. because I just don't trust food outside anymore. That's really the big thing. So especially if you have like specific needs like vegan, vegetarian, Thanksgiving is a big meat eating holiday. So I would offer to bring something with you. I'd call in advance. I'd call the host, whether it's your aunt or whoever, and just ask, are you going to have like any vegetarian options? Because if not, I'm happy to bring some pasta with me or what have you. So I'm going to give that question a like, Jared. Thanks for asking. Hope that answers it. And let me know if it did not. So yeah, the holidays are tricky. The holidays are definitely tricky. They throw a lot of people off. And, more and more, if we're just a little disciplined, we're a little bit smarter, and we don't forget about it. If we don't shut down the idea of being fit, staying fit, doing something versus nothing, it can really help us get through the sort of the challenge that the holidays present. And again, like I was saying earlier when I first started this session, I didn't have a lot of time today. Today was a great example of, trying to do something versus nothing. I worked pretty hard today. I worked longer than I was going to. I wanted to get like a 20 to 30 minute cardio session in before this Facebook Live. I only had 10 minutes. And I did a 10-minute, interval workout, and I felt good, and I kind of stayed in the fitness groove versus doing nothing. It would have been very easy to do nothing. So that's the thing, guys. Always do a little something, because even if you're not, let's say, burning a ton of calories or having the workout of your life, just keeping fitness present in your mind and in your being, you're not nosediving anymore. You're kind of keeping a bit of momentum going, and that's going to pay big dividends for you. So let's see, we're almost at the top of the hour. It's 8:57 p.m. New York time. I'll open it up again to any other questions. Let me know, guys, is there anything I can answer as far as, how to stay slim during the holidays, how to go through the holidays and come out the other side in January where you're feeling good about yourself and not guilty, no holiday belly bulge. Let me know what else I can answer or kind of shed some light on. And by the way, while I'm waiting for another question, I plan on doing these every Wednesday night, guys. I was a little bit sporadic when I started this over the summer, but now because we are going into January, because you guys, I think people need more help during the holidays to keep fitness top of mind and to keep, getting their questions answered and keeping their motivation at a decent level. I'm going to be doing these every Wednesday night at 8:30 New York time. And I'm going to keep going all the way through January because obviously, health and fitness is top of mind for everyone in January. So I'm going to be doing these every Wednesday night. Be sure to tune in, invite your friends. Would love it if you can spread the word. And, in the process, I'm also going to be working hard on a new program I'm going to be launching in January. So I'll have more details about that soon. It's in the very early stages, but it's really cool. It's going to be a awesome toolbox for how to sort of transform your body in 90 days very efficiently without spending more than 2 hours per week at the gym. So that's what I'm working on. I think it's going to be exciting. It's going to be very needed by a lot of people. It's going to have a lot of my wisdom, a lot of my knowledge, my motivation that I've learned over 30 years of fitness and transforming my own body. And I'm really looking forward to creating this product that's going to empower a lot of people. All right, guys, so there's about a minute left. If anybody else has any final thoughts or questions, go ahead and put it in the box. And otherwise, if not, I'm going to just sort of say thanks to everybody for joining. I see my Aunt Magda is on. Anthony is on. Hola, Patty. Got a couple of cool people. Marcello, another fitness industry professional, he's on. So always great to see you guys. And again, if you think of anything, if you have any questions after this Facebook Live is over,
it's 9 o'clock.
You could leave it in the comments for the Facebook Live video, and I'll get back to you, or you could just DM me. All right. So with that, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this this session of Firestarter, where I got to help you give you some insights on how to avoid the holiday belly bulge and kind of how to stay lean during the challenging times that are the holidays. I hope you have wonderful holidays, and I will see you again next Wednesday at the same time, 8:30 p.m. Until then, adios.